These onion seedlings, as we speak, they are 5 weeks old. This is the major activity at this week, the 5th week or the 6th week, or during the transplanting, which is cutting the leaves of the onions. The reason why we usually cut them. So many of you have been asking me why we usually cut the onions leaves at this point, and I want to explain to you why is it important, or why I usually consider trimming the onions leaves at this stage. These onion seedlings, as we speak, they are 5 weeks old, and you can see how they look like. And this is the major activity at this week, the 5th week or the 6th week, or during the transplanting, which is cutting the leaves of the onions. One, the reason why we usually cut them is for the main activity, which is hardening the mold. And what is hardening the mold? Hardening the mold is making them, or introducing them to the field, to the main field where you are going to transplant them. Now you want them to be earned, to be adoptive to the main field, or where you are going to transplant them. That's what we call hardening off. Hardening off can be done by trimming the leaves and also denying them water, or modulating or regulating the amount of water that you apply. But in my case, I do both, regulating water and also trimming their leaves, because it's very important. So when trimming leaves, you need to be very cautious, because the onion seedling has different parts. There is the stem and there is the growing part of the seedling. Let me get one seedling here so that I can be able to explain to you. There is this seedling here, which has the root, the stem, and the growing part. This seedling is ready for transplanting. In 1 week's time, it will have been transplanted. So when we are trimming, we make sure we trim the leaves at that point. You see, at that point. Please avoid trimming the leaf from this point, which is the stem. If you trim there, you've now brought in another issue of stressing the seedling to extreme. So avoid trimming it from that point. So that way you see me, I'm holding this part and trimming them. Holding and trimming them. Holding and trimming them. Holding and trimming them. So I know you're asking yourself, other than the hardening of, what is the main importance, or why should one trim their seedlings? The reason why you need to trim your seedling, not necessarily the hardening off, because the hardening off can be done even when the leaves, is to trigger their growth. When you trim them this way, one, they are stressed, so they don't grow taller anymore. They concentrate on developing the stem and becoming stronger. Like for example, you see this area here, the onions have grown very tall and very long. So if it continues this way, it produces a very weak stem towards transplanting. So during transplanting, you'll transplant with a very weak stem. To strengthen the stem, to have a stronger stem, to have a thick stem. Now that's why we are trimming these leaves, because now from today, all the nutrients that were used, or these onions were using to make the leaves, all the nutrients that were used here now will be used in formation of the stem. So it's very key to trim your onions so that you can have a very good stem and a healthy stem during transplanting, which is in 1 week's time. And another thing you also need to look at is, after trimming, you need to prevent fungal infection, because already when you trim them this way, you've already opened a route to fungal infection. So after this, you need to come up with the product. You can bring mancozeb, metalaxib to be able to spray them. You can use copper to spray them, because it will prevent and kill any fungal disease that is in the seedlings. Hope you've learned something from us this training. If it's your first time that you're watching me, follow and subscribe this channel so that we can continue learning together. Bye.